Hey y'all, I'm in the kitchen today and I am making a pineapple orange jam. As the title implies, it's just pineapple and orange and some sugar. I don't use pectin in this recipe. It's a very easy recipe, but it does take a lot of time to cook it down, about an hour and sometimes even more. And a lot of that's going to depend on your elevation. I'm just barely above sea level here outside of Houston, so my cooking time is going to be a little different than your cooking time. So if yours doesn't get to gel stage at the same time mine does, don't worry, just keep cooking it. This recipe does not require pectin. You could use pectin if you want. If you're a seasoned canner, then you'll know about, I would probably add an envelope or two of pectin, but this doesn't need pectin at all. I'm going to be giving this as Christmas gifts. I make gift baskets, and this is one of the items that are going in the gift basket. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel my pineapple. So cut off the top, cut off the bottom, remove the outside layer. You see these little spots? You want to get rid of all of that. Slippery. Cut off any bruised areas. Not sure why that one's bruised so deep. There we go. You're not going to core the pineapple. We're using the cores and everything on this recipe. So after you've gotten it skinned, set that aside. I'm going to rinse these off to get any remaining hard pieces off. I'll rinse it off in a minute. All right. So I'm going to move on to the other two pineapples and do them the exact same way. And then I will be back to show you the next step. Right now I'm just kind of cleaning this junk out of my way. But I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, so for this next step, I'm going to take the pineapple and I'm going to cut it into chunks big enough, small enough to fit into my Ninja, which is going to chop them all up. I can usually fit one whole pineapple in there at a time. You can cut it smaller if you need to, depending on what kind of food processor you have. It looks like that's all it's going to fit for now. Go ahead and get the lid on here. There we go. Now I'm just going to blend it in my Ninja. I want to make sure that there's no big chunks in there. I don't want anything really big, so I think I will run it through one more time, and then I'm going to dump that into a pot I have waiting over here. So basically, you chop up your pineapple and then dump it in your pot and process them all three. I'm going to go ahead and finish processing the rest of mine, and then I will be back. The next thing I'm going to do is zest a couple of oranges. I don't want a bunch of the white stuff. I want mostly just the orange peel. We don't want it to be bitter like marmalade. Just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna add this to our pineapple mixture. Can do more if you like. That's just all I'm doing. Now I am going to juice the oranges. If you have a juicer, that's fine. I'm just gonna squeeze it into my pot. Pull it over here where y'all can see. Don't let any of the seeds fall down in there. I have a juicer around here somewhere. I'm just not that concerned about it. It works both ways. Do the other orange. And then a third orange. So far I've used 3 pineapples, the zest from 2 oranges, and the juice from 3 oranges. This must be a seedless orange. I haven't seen any seeds yet. I'm suspicious. Alright. Now it's time to add the sugar. Alright, now I'm going to add 3 cups of sugar. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stir it all up. I'm going to add 3 more cups of sugar. Actually, I'm just going to do 2. So I used a total of 5 cups of sugar. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of water. Alright, now I'm going to get this on the stove and I'm going to simmer this on medium for about the next hour. I'm looking for it to reach a gel stage. When you put a little bit on a frozen plate or frozen bowl and you tilt it, it should be the consistency that you want your jam. So I'm going to get this on the stove, and then I'll be back in an hour. If you start to get a bunch of foam on top, then add a little bit of butter, real butter, and stir that in, and that gets rid of the foam problem most of the time. Alright, so after 1 hour, I'm going to take some and put it on a plate. Let it sit there for a minute. You can already tell by looking at it that it's not ready. So see when I turn it to the side how liquidy it is? It means it's not ready. So I'm going to set my timer for another 30 minutes, and I'm going to keep on cooking this down. Alright, so it's been an hour and a half, and I'm going to test it again. Put some on a plate. Let it sit there for a minute. This cools it off extra fast. And the reason I can't just tell you how long it takes is because all pineapples are not exactly the same size. It can take a different amount of time depending on the size of your pineapples. So it's not as liquidy as it was before, but it's not at the stage that I want it. So I'm going to set my timer for another 30 minutes, and then I will be back. Alright, it's been 2 hours, and I'm going to test it again. Just let it sit there and cool. If you have to cook these preserves or jam for 3 hours, then that's what you have to do. You can use pectin. You don't have to do it this way. Alright, it is almost where I want it to be, so I'm going to let it go 30 more minutes, and then I'm going to call it. So that would be a total of 2.5 hours simmering. And because these pineapples were pretty juicy, I probably could have omitted the water or left out the water that I added. Sometimes I do add the water, sometimes I don't. So I'll adjust this recipe at the end. But then again, depending on the juiciness of your pineapples, you might not need to adjust it. So we'll see. I may adjust it at the end. But yeah, there you go. It's almost where I want it to be. Alright, now I'm going to ladle it into my jars that I've already sterilized. Gonna leave a 1/4 inch headspace. We'll have to see how many jars this takes for 3 pineapples. If you overfill it, don't worry, you can take some out in a few minutes. Crap, I bet I'm gonna need another jar. If you put too much, just take a spoon and take some out. Now I'm going to wipe the rims of the jar. Clean all this off that I got on here. Make sure you get all the stickiness off of each jar. Now I'm going to put my rings and lids on. Just put them on fingertip tight. And then we're going to water bath these for 5 minutes. Alright, I've got them in there, water covering the top, and my 5-minute timer will start when it comes to a rolling boil. This one little one that I had is just going to go in the fridge for Tommy and I. Alright, it's been 5 minutes. I'll turn off the burner and let it sit here for a few minutes and cool off before I take them out and sit them on a towel. And there you go. I got 6 pints and a little half pint. Those are going to add some sunshine to my Christmas baskets. So it's been a couple of years since I have made this recipe. Actually, it's been probably 8 years since I made this recipe. And what I now remember is, if your pineapples are juicy enough, don't add the water. Add a little bit of water to make it just a little juicier. But don't add the 2 cups of water that I added. I did add an additional cup of sugar for a total of 6 cups of sugar. That's 2 cups per pineapple if you're going to decrease this recipe. What else did I do? I would add more orange zest if you're doing 3 pineapples like I did, to make it more orangey. Because that little bit that I added really wasn't enough for 3 whole pineapples. In the past, I want to say I did even more than 3 pineapples at one time, but it's really hard when you're making a jam to triple a recipe. So my original recipe was for 1 pineapple. But anyway, so follow the recipe, decrease the water, and add 2 cups of sugar per pineapple, and I think yours will turn out okay. In the end, I processed these for almost 3 hours to get them to a consistency that I liked. Let me show you how it came out. This is the little jar that I kept, so you can see the color, and there's the consistency of my jam, which is perfect. Going to be good on toast or bagels or in yogurt, pancakes. You can even put this on a ham. And like I said, the only thing I would do differently is decrease the water and put more orange zest in it. So anyway, that is our pineapple orange jam. Thank you guys for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe.